Welcome to the You Heard What I Said podcast, where we discuss real, raw conversations about life, love, relationships, and the lessons we've learned.
Welcome back to another episode of You Heard What I Said. And if you like the content, don't be afraid to like, share, and subscribe. And this is your girl Precious, and I'm along with my boy Keon. What's going on?
What's up, Precious? How you doing today?
Doing good, can't complain.
Yeah, how's your week been so far?
So far it's been all right. Had some family things going on, but besides that, it's been okay. I actually got out today, went to go see a friend. We had like a little ice cream date. So not a guy, just my bestie. But at least I got out the house and enjoyed myself. So that was great.
Got some sun rays.
Man, it's hot as heck out there. You talking about those 3 digits? It was hot. That sun was beaming on the face. But it's good. I enjoyed it. It's always good catching up with my friends.
I know it is. That's cool. I mean, for me, I just recently I had a funny story. I actually was yesterday. I was getting some work done, some brake work done with my my car and everything, and something I never do. If you go to a mechanic shop, you never think you would expect to see something or hear something unusual. It's like watching in Living Color back in the day, where that lady in the window where she could hear everything on the block.
Wow.
All those stories. So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden the head employee's like, "You want to see a porcupine?" I'm like,
"Wait, what?"
That's my look. I'm shaking my head like a dog. Like, what? Like, what are you talking? You want to see a porcupine? Like, yeah. He's like, "Come here." And so like all the workers are under this truck, and there's a porcupine hanging on for dear life under this truck.
Wow. And so they didn't try to get it off?
Well, they were trying to they were trying to get it. They were trying to poke at it. It was holding on tight. And so I went out, I opened up the door, and I'm out there with him, and I'm looking. I couldn't see on one side, so I'm like, okay, the one guy's filming, other guy has a pole trying to jab it a little bit,
right?
And then like 5 or 6 of them just surrounding them and looking and everything like that. And I'm like, dude, what the heck? Where am I at? And so I come back in, sit down for a minute. And they're still out there. And I'm like, all right, let me see the porcupine, because I didn't see it. So I get out there and I go all the way around, and I'm looking under. I'm like, ain't that it's right there. Just I see the spikes, and everything like that, and it's there. So I'm standing there with him, like, oh, this is, so I'm just standing there with him, and then all of a sudden, something just jumps, right? And it doesn't jump out, but it just moves, and everybody scatters. And so, of course, I'm with them now. I was telling my wife, it's like how all of a sudden when you just hanging out with friends and one person start running, you don't know what's going on. But, and that's how I was. I was out of there. And then eventually, after a couple minutes, it just jumped down. And so I'm like, oh, so I got it on record. I'll show it to you. I filmed a little bit of it. And then all of a sudden, it's just scooting around, and it wouldn't leave. And so they're trying to scoop it up with a broom, push it a little bit. And it finally it goes into the corner for about 15 minutes and does his little business. He's in there for about 15, 20 minutes. And they eventually got into a trash can. And I guess they took it back into the wild to let it loose. But I'm just like, dude, I'm going to get some brakes, some brakes done. And all of a sudden, I'm saying a porcupine hanging on for dear life under a truck. And so, yeah, so that was my day yesterday.
Games until that mark get you.
Oh, dude, I have my distance.
Y'all know that's right.
Joking, I ain't used to the wild. Living up in the inner city. I ain't used to all that. So, but that was my week so far. Pretty entertaining.
I was not expecting that.
Then I had to look it up. I'm like, do porcupines, live in the area where I'm at? Like,
right?
But it says they're in North America, so
we usually have a lot of deer, but definitely no porcupines. And those deer, they'll stare you down. They'll be like all in the side of the driveway and everything. Like we have a staring contest.
Yeah, they be like, what?
You gonna move? Right? Yeah. I got my lights on. Like, who's moving first? Like, cause you're not coming in the garage with me. Like, what's going on here? But yeah, dang.
I know.
Porcupines, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it was.
All right. let's get into topic number one. And something that I think everybody needs to work on, and that's like creating your own peace. And so, like, are we creating our own peace? And if we are creating our own peace, like, what are the necessary steps that we're taking to gain that? Because it's definitely something that's needed, period.
Right. That's so true.
Yeah. So you want me to start it off? I mean,
Yeah, you
I
start off
get
this week.
okay.
I want to hear yours first.
I could get
The
into
world wants
it.
to hear yours first.
Oh, not the world.
The world. Yes, yes.
Okay. I mean, I think trying to create your peace is a process. It's definitely something I've been working on for a long time. And it's something that I strive to do every day. And so so yes, I am trying to create my own peace, definitely. It's a daily task.
Right.
And it's something that the main thing I try to do is just surround myself with people who are not bringing chaos into my life. That's number one, because if you're bringing that negative energy into my space, then that's not providing me peace. And then it's like, okay, it's time to go. So
Right.
that's the first thing, surrounding myself with those good people who bring me joy,
There you go.
So, yeah, exactly. And then other things that I do is try to meditate in the morning, have me a little quiet time, just, be in my thoughts. That brings me peace. It relaxes me and it centers me for the day. So that's good. And try to be one with nature. If that's just going out for a walk or just going outside and soaking up the sun, because we know we need this vitamin D in our
There
life.
you go. That is true. That is true.
I don't get enough. My junk is always low every time I go in for a physical. So just just things like that. I definitely enjoy my alone time. Even if it's just taking a ride, going to pick up an order from Walmart, whatever it is, so that way I can just be like, I can breathe. I don't have constant people, coming at me with everybody's issues,
Mm-hmm.
I can just relax, de-stress, and just enjoy, myself. So I think those are the things that I'm trying to do every
Right.
day, to create my peace. What about you?
The funny thing is, you can tell we're family.
Uh-oh.
And for those of you that don't
Uh-oh.
know, we're brothers,
Hey.
sisters,
Yes.
and just like you talked about, it is a work in progress, and that's something
Mm-hmm.
that I have to understand that as long as I continue to get better today than
Right.
I was yesterday, then
That's
I'm okay. But just like you talked about, one thing that I think about in terms of my peace
mm-hmm.
is thinking that it could be worse,
Oh,
and being thankful for what I have and where I'm at today.
come through with it. Yes. Okay.
Because I listen to a lot of different podcasts throughout the week
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I watch stuff on TV. Like recently, they had the ESPYS on ESPN
Mm-hmm.
and all of
Mm-hmm.
that, and you hear different stories, and they always talk about being thankful, being grateful, and all of
Yes.
that. And I look at it to where, yeah, sometimes I do wish that I was in a
Mm-hmm.
different place, a better place,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll eventually
Mm-hmm.
get there, but also
Right.
think about those that are less fortunate. I mean, I don't know what I was listening to. I was listening to something that talks about how, of course, that the United States is,
Mm-hmm.
is so much better off than various countries,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of financial status, in terms of different statuses. And I just need to
Right.
be thankful, that I'm in a, place where I can do more and be more
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and everything like that. So that's one thing in terms of helping find my peace, is being thankful and grateful for where I'm at.
Right.
And then my second thing is
Mm-hmm.
knowing that once I really find my passion in life, what's going to get me
Ooh.
up in the morning, what's going to me not having to worry about it on large. Some people find their passion very young. Some people find their
Mm-hmm.
passion in their, in college. Some people find their
Right.
passion in adulthood. Some people never
Mm-hmm.
find it. And I found things I'm good at. I found things that
Mm-hmm.
I tend to enjoy a lot, but I haven't
Right.
found that one passion that's gonna wake
Oh,
me up before
okay.
the alarm clock. And so knowing that another thing that keeps me at my peace is knowing that once I find that passion, it's gonna be golden
Ooh.
from there. They talk
Well, you
about
getting deep
they talk
here.
they talk about how when I say they just the
Yeah.
work, in general,
Mm-hmm.
when I hear
Mm-hmm.
people talking about they never work a day in their life because they're doing what they love to do.
Yes, that
That's
part.
that's the passion I'm talking about is doing
Mm-hmm.
stuff for the fun of it. We had a conversation, you and I had a conversation yesterday, and I
Mm-hmm.
was saying about some things I like doing, and that brings me at peace because it's something that's
Right.
an enjoyment and everything like that.
Yes.
So that's number two. Number three is simply
Right.
something that you talked about
Okay.
is you talk about maybe going for a walk
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. That's another thing that brings me at peace is going for that daily stroll, going for that walk,
Yeah.
going in the
Mm-hmm.
car and just I love what sometimes I like to go in the car and just turn my music up and just enjoy it and look to the left, look to the
Mm-hmm.
right, and just do stuff so they just so the person to my left, person to my right could feel good because a lot of times
Right.
they're in rush hour traffic, just frustrated with the world, and I'm
Yes.
just kick back,
Yes.
laying back. But another thing that people think I'm crazy at is I like to grocery shop.
Okay. That's
And
something you've always
I know,
kind of
right?
enjoyed.
Right.
Yeah.
That brings me peace because
Okay.
I go in
Okay.
there and I put my earbuds on and when I have them in most cases, throwing some music and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just chilling. I'm just strolling
Yeah.
with my car, just taking my
Just in your
time,
zone.
yeah, in my
Mm-hmm.
zone. And I may see someone in a cart or a wheelchair, whatever. And hey, do you
Mm-hmm.
need some help? Do you need, I just ask them
Right.
because I
Oh.
don't get it for them. I ask them because a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
people want to be independent, so I'll ask
Right.
them, but I'll get stuff for them, and I'll smile at
Oh,
people.
look
They
at
they
you.
probably think I'm crazy, but that brings me so much peace. Just taking
Yeah.
my time and just I'm away from everything, and I'm just in my own little zone, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what keeps me going. So yeah, my
Yeah, you
peace.
got
So
that contagious energy. So,
yeah,
people want to be around you. That's great. That's
uh,
awesome. You got real deep there. Okay.
no, it's all good.
Yeah. I guess one more thing that kind of creates me peace, which most people probably think is weird, are numbers.
Numbers.
Like, yes, like I
Okay.
love just numbers in general. So type of like budgeting or things like that. It's like, oh, you want me to do a budget for you? Oh,
Really, I
you
never
want me
knew
to
that.
run it?
Did I know
I
this?
I don't
No,
know. I mean, I do
I
get
think
that
so.
accounting,
Yeah,
background, but I love budgeting and, working that out. I don't know. It brings me joy, just sitting there like, let me see if I can put this together. So that definitely brings me peace. Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
Hmm.
And what brings you peace may not bring the next person peace. And
That's
so
true.
also it's not
That's
crazy.
true.
It's
Hmm.
what brings you at peace. And so we're all gonna
Yeah.
have different things. So I like that one. That's
Yeah.
cool. So
Okay.
you're gonna do my income tax next year?
We'll see. We'll
I
see.
got I
I
got
got
a
you. I
I
got
got a box full of receipts. No kidding. Everywhere, everything I do. Would you like
Not
a
a box
receipt?
full.
Yes, please.
You know what? I'm kind of the same way. I usually don't throw anything away. So yeah, we're alike in that way.
Yeah.
We're alike. Well, let's cheers to another
Oh
episode.
shoot. All right.
Uh-oh.
I
You
got
got
some.
it?
I got.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay. I'm piggybacking off of you this time. You can't
oh,
really see it, but I got that Ela up in here.
oh
So
yeah.
I'm ready.
There you go.
I'm ready.
I was in the ride the other day, listening to some old school
Uh-huh.
music and rolling down the street, sipping
Sip it
on.
on.
That's what I got right
Okay.
here. And so
Laid back. All
here's to
right. Cheers
you,
to
lay back.
you.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm
Ooh,
about to take 2 sips on that.
yeah, okay,
Mm.
I could do that.
Right. Yeah. That's needed.
I might need a bib later, but I'm good.
Yeah. That's definitely needed going into topic number 2. And it's something that I heard a while ago. I'm not sure what I was listening to, but the saying was selfish people live longer, you know? And I
Okay.
know that that's like, hmm, but with selfish people living longer and to stop allowing yourself to be at the bottom of the totem pole. And I don't think it's like selfish in a negative light, like, no, you can't have none of my gum,
Right.
but but yeah, so let's hear your thoughts about that. Is that something that you agree with, that selfish people live longer, or do you tend to put yourself at the bottom of the totem pole? I don't know. Let's get into it.
Okay. Well, I agree with that 100% for most cases, in most cases,
Okay.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because in terms of being selfish, number one, it starts with you.
Mm.
And I don't know if you see, I got this love shirt on.
Yes,
And
I
so
see
I
you.
guess it kind of thing. So you can't love anybody else until you love yourself. So it
Oh,
starts with
that's
you.
yes.
It starts with you.
Yes.
Any issues, you gotta look in the mirror. And so that's the
Mm-hmm.
first thing I think about in terms of that. So I think
Mm-hmm.
about when you talk about selfish people starts with you. I agree, because
Right.
you have to be the best person you can be. And then, oh man,
Mm-hmm.
so all right, so in high school, there's a my locker partner, and if you're
Okay.
listening, shout out to you. He had a chance to, if I remember the story right, he had a chance to meet up with someone that was in college and actually
Mm-hmm.
ended up playing it in the NFL. And
Okay.
one thing that he told him, which I remember him telling me,
Mm-hmm.
was that you can never be the best you can be. You can always be better.
Oh,
And I
okay.
remember that
Mm-hmm.
from, well, I'm not going to say I guess you know my age, but that was what
I know.
35 years ago, almost, I guess
Right.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuck with
Yeah.
me. And so,
Okay.
so it starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about when they talk about, like, I know in the last episode you're talking about flying,
Right.
and getting out there in the airplane,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing where sometimes you have to be selfish and you learn things like that, where when you first, I mean, now it's recorded and everything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
like the flight attendant or the recording, they talk about in case there's an emergency, you put your mask on first
Yes.
before you help
Mm-hmm.
anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts with you. And the last point that I'm going to make is,
Mm-hmm.
when I said earlier, almost
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Right.
Sometimes I look at it where you have to be selfless. And for those that don't know, I've been working in the concept of affiliate marketing for over 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I've learned is when you're building a business, you
Mm-hmm.
have to help. The whole one of the things I've learned is that you gotta, in order for you to get church at, 'cause a lot of times we worry about, man, I got rent to pay or I got this to pay,
Yeah.
and we start focusing
Mm-hmm.
on us, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just pushing everything away. It's pushing, the money's
Yeah.
being pushed away. And I learned, if you help that new person earn their first check, if you help that person
Mm-hmm.
get what they want,
Yeah.
eventually you'll get what you want. So that's why when I say almost 100%, because like in
Mm-hmm.
that whole concept of affiliate marketing, things like that, and you have to, if you have to help someone
Yeah.
get that check. You have to help someone,
Right.
where if you're in a position to profit from the success of that person. So that's where
Mm-hmm.
you gotta think selfless, because instead of
Yeah.
thinking about, man, dude, I gotta have money for gas. I gotta pay this, pay that, and you start focusing on that, and then you start
Yeah.
getting stressed and this, that, and the other. Where I
Mm-hmm.
look at it, where if you're selfless and start helping someone else, it'll come back to you. So that's why I look at it in both ways. Where in most cases, absolutely, but in some
Mm-hmm.
cases, you gotta help that other person get
Yeah.
what they want to get what you want.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree that we're like all one and we're connected. So yes, if I do for you, eventually, yes, it's gonna come back to me. So yeah, I agree with that
It
100%.
may not
Look
happen that
at
night, or
you.
it may not happen that
Right.
night or the
Yeah.
next day, because
Yeah.
it may
Mm-hmm.
not happen when you want it to happen.
Gonna happen right on time.
Right on time.
Right on time. That's a good one, Kim. Look at you giving me different perspectives and everything. I love it. See, that's why we work good together. That's why we work
And
good. Yeah.
speaking of that, if you guys like what you hear, like, subscribe,
Right.
get the word out.
Exactly. Okay, so as far as I go, I agree with it 100%. I do think, like you said, for the most part, selfish people live longer. Like, who was that? Our great grandmother lived to, what was she, 100 or 101 or something? And she always had that mentality of, like, look, I'm going to do my own thing. You're not about to
Oh
bother me.
man,
You're not
yeah,
about to
right,
disrupt my peace.
right,
I'm going to do things that bring me joy. And she lived forever and was going. It wasn't like, no, she was just sitting up in the room and not able to move. She
right,
was getting around. Granny, Granny had it
right.
going on.
Making quilts and doing
Yes,
all that stuff. Yeah,
yes. fixing us breakfast, every
Dude.
morning. And you talking about those breakfasts where it's like the biscuits and the grits and the
Oh
eggs,
my
the big
gosh.
hearty breakfasts. And that's because, she lived she lived to help others, but she lived mainly, for herself.
Mm-hmm.
She made sure that she was good so that she could help everyone else. Just like you said about that airplane, it's like if I'm no good, then how am I supposed to be good for you?
Right.
If
Right.
I'm not around,
Right.
so you have to make sure that you take care of yourself. And I think it's sometimes like being selfish with your time. It's like, okay, if I'm tired, I understand that you may need me, but I'm gonna have to say no. And I used to feel bad about that. Somebody had asked me to do something and I knew I was just exhausted and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. And I would say no. And then I would spend the rest of the day being like, oh, why didn't I just go do it and feeling bad instead of just
Right.
saying, no, I have to take care of me, and they'll be okay, because if, like you said, if I'm not around, then how am I supposed to be of help or service to you? And I just think that when you're constantly pouring into everybody else, you have
Mm-hmm.
nothing left for yourself. Your cup is empty,
Mm-hmm.
and you're depleted. So I do believe that I have to pour into myself first,
Man.
before I can help anyone else. My child had just asked me to do something before we started, recording. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I can't. This is something that you're gonna have to do on your own,
Right.
And he worked it out and made it happen, and I feel good about it. you know,
Yeah.
like
I didn't.
finally.
No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, my bad.
Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that's something that I didn't
Mm,
learn until a couple years ago about it
mhm.
being okay to say no. I
You're
didn't.
not alone.
I just learned it because, like you said, you always want to do okay. If
Hmm.
because you feel bad afterwards if you say no, or you might
Hmm.
hurt their feelings, or they may think something
Right.
about you. But I've
Hmm.
learned just recently it's okay to say no.
It's definitely
Yeah.
okay to say no. I would say yes all the time and constantly helping, but then that's probably another whole topic. But then people will start to take advantage of you because you're always saying yes. So they're like, well, we know they'll be here. They're going to show up for me. They'll take care of it. So we'll continue to use and abuse them,
Mm-hmm.
for what
Mm-hmm.
it's worth, to get things done because they got it. And it's
Right.
like, no, I'm over here struggling because I'm helping you and I have nothing left, for myself.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think selfish people live longer because I think for the most part they're kind of stress free. You know, they don't have those worries. I know my ex, he has that mentality, and I really wish I had like at least 50% of that because he'll be like, "Yep, can't do it," and I'll be like, "But no, you have to." He's like, "No, no, can't do it. I'm good." And he wouldn't think about it at all after that. He's gonna go on with his day. And like you said, I'm over here like, "Oh, what should I do? What should I do?"
Right, but you make it work. You make it happen.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
that's one thing. When you say no, the other person will figure it out.
Yeah, and that's how they grow. You
Hmm.
know, that's definitely how they grow. Because if I'm constantly doing it for you, you won't be able to do it for yourself. So, yeah, that's something like you said. I had to learn how to say no, and not just to say no, but to be okay with saying no. And that's something that I still battle with. It's like I mastered that no. I'll tell you no real quick, but I am gonna stress about it for a little bit afterwards. Like, oh, should I say no? Was I being mean? And that's
Yeah,
not helping the situation at all. So,
right,
yeah, I
right.
definitely have to. I don't even want to say find that balance, but just make sure that I take care of me first. Yeah. Okay, well, before we get into our three things, I had saw somewhere on, I think it was on Instagram, I'm not sure, but it was like, give yourself permission to say that this isn't serving me and walk away with your peace. And that just like flows right into what, we were just talking about. I'm like, that is so true. If it is not serving you
Right.
anymore, you know, walk away. Be
Bye
like, nope.
bye. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that. It's like I'm finding all my little inspiration,
All the
learning a
nuggets.
lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know
Man,
why I was so like against this before. Like this is dope. I'm
well,
loving, the
thank
social
you.
media.
Thank
So
you for sharing with me and the world, man.
yeah, no problem. Thank you for whoever shared that
Right?
so that I can, post on the show. So that was awesome. But into the three things I figured today, to flow with, everything that we were talking about, we could do three things that bring us joy, since we talk about what creates us peace, and I'm sure those things that bring us joy are also creating us peace, because it's making us happy and, all those things, filling us with all types of joy,
Right, right.
So yeah. All right, who wants to get this started?
Let's see. I can go ahead and start it off.
Okay. All right.
And I'm assuming there may be some duplicates here that you and I may have. I
Probably
don't
because
know.
we seem to be on the same page with
Right,
a
right,
lot of
right.
stuff.
But actually when you asked this question to me and I was thinking
Mhm.
about it, I have a long list, actually,
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that makes me laugh. Yeah, that makes me happy. Like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, and so I was like, man, that because when you hear the question, I was like,
Right.
I was like, man, I could probably count that on my hand. But then I started
Hmm.
thinking about it. There's so many things that can bring you
Yep.
joy. It could be just the simplest things like birds chirping, or like like one of my cats sleeping funny, like
Yeah.
that just brings me joy. Like, oh, he's at peace, he's restful, and he just opened up. Just like that it could be just the simplest things like that. But
Right.
just for today and
That's
for the
funny.
episode, yeah, our ginger cat, man, dude, that dude, he'll sleep wherever, and he just has his
Oh
hind
shoot.
legs up like this, and he'll have his head turned like this, and then he's just all open for the world to
Oh
see.
my goodness.
He's at peace though. And then you look at him and you call his name, he'll look at you and be like, "What, dude?"
Right. Like, why
Yeah,
you bothering me? Don't
yeah.
disturb
Leave
me.
me
I'm
alone.
good.
I'm at peace. This is my joy. Wait a minute.
Right.
So it could be a whole list. but
Yeah.
my three, my number one is family. You know, media family, uh,
Hmm.
but also uh, family, in terms immediate family in terms of
I know
like
what you mean. I
right,
got you.
but also like you
Oh.
and
Hmm.
just family, and whether if they're cousins or if you
Yeah.
call them family,
Hmm.
that brings me joy. Just knowing,
Right.
number one, knowing that they're okay, but also knowing that
Yeah.
they're there with me. They're I
Hmm.
have their support, their love, and just it brings me joy because you could have any family. I'm just glad I have the family that I have.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's
yeah,
so
yeah.
sweet.
And number two, I kind of touched upon it a little earlier in terms of brings me joy. One of the two that I'm gonna list today is just
Hmm.
getting in my car or truck or
Yeah.
whatever SUV and throwing on some old school music and just driving
Ooh, yes.
and just enjoying it. I've been just recently just downloading stuff, and I
Hmm.
have a playlist, and I'll just Bluetooth in the car, and I'll
Hmm.
just play it, and man, that brings me joy because I'm
Yeah.
like, I just kind of remember, most of them are from college days, and I just
Hmm.
remember hearing it for the first time, and then some are like my like if like my Eye of the Tiger type of songs, where it's like this is what I listen to for my inspiration,
Right.
and so I just hear that, and that brings me joy.
I am
Just
the tiger.
well, not that particular one, but songs like that. Yeah, there's
Right.
songs like that. There's one
Yeah.
that I'm not even gonna go into it, but there's one that
Okay.
is my favorite, and there's
Mhm.
also others that has so much bass to it or whatever. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm driving, but so I can't close my eyes, but if I could, I'll just close my eyes and
Yeah. Right.
just feel it. But the
You
third
need
thing,
that Tesla for that. That
uh,
self-driving car.
yeah, mentally, I don't know if I'm there for that because I don't know if I could just be in the driver's seat and it drive by itself. I'm not there yet. What
Right.
about you? What about you? You there?
No,
If
absolutely not. No way.
I need control.
No way.
For the person that
Yes.
doesn't feel like I need control over that.
Hmm. Yeah, there's
And
no way.
I don't know, not yet. Yeah, and number three is just having those memories with close friends. that brings me joy. You know, one of my best friends in the world. We talk and we talk like every other day. And FaceTime duo, whatever you want to call it. And we just have those memories, like the remember wins, and we talk about playing 4 square, 2 square, playing running bases,
Right.
strikeout, and just
Right.
just having all these different memories. And that brings me joy because we were happy and just having fun, just being kids and just not worried or thinking about all the negativity that's going on
Right.
today, but
Exactly.
just having fun. And those memories are the best. So those are my 3:
Yeah.
family, just in the car riding, and those sweet memories with friends.
Yeah. Well, let me say I love you too,
Oh,
and you bring me joy.
yes, yes, always.
Yes, I love doing this podcast with you. It's
Yes.
wonderful. And I'm like you as well. It was really hard trying to narrow it down to just 3 things because, like you said, a lot of things tend to bring me joy, you know. And some of them are kind of, you know, like you when you were talking about friends. Like I love spending time with my girls, you know, like they definitely uplift me and they just bring me joy. You know, we're constantly laughing, just having a
Mm-hmm.
good time. It's like you have those memes where like people just cracking up laughing and they are like all on the floor, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
that's just me and my girl. So I definitely enjoy that. And I think I might have said it earlier, but how I enjoy my quiet time, you know, I thoroughly enjoy that. That's how I decompress, you know, from the day. You know, sometimes I walk through the door and it's like, you know, it's like, oh my goodness.
So you stay in that garage a little bit longer than normal.
I
Getting
do. And it's like, it's obviously not long enough because as soon as I can't even take my shoes off before it's like, okay, what is it? What happened? You know, it's like, oh, geez. So just to hurry up, take a shower, you know, and just get into the room, close that door, you
yeah.
know, yeah, just that quiet time. That definitely brings me joy. But one of the nice things, you know, that makes my heart smile, that brings me joy is just, you know, those little moments that I capture with my son. You know, we could be driving in a car, you know, and he'll open up and we'll just have all those great conversations, or he's playing some music for me, you know, that he produced, whatever it is, you know, we always have a good time. If he's cooking for us, you know, he's a really good cook,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for his age. So, you know, all those things bring me joy. And why I say that, let me shout out Hard Knock on the intro and the outro.
Yes,
We thank
yes.
you.
Thank you, Hard Knock. Much
Yes,
appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
absolutely. So those are the kind of things, you know, that bring me joy. Like you said, friends, family, you know, my child as always, you know, and then my quiet time. You know, I can't leave myself out that equation.
There
You
you
know,
go.
I bring myself joy
Gotta be selfish.
all the time. I am joy. I am love, life, and laughter.
Ooh, that's how we should sign
So,
out.
I know, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, once again, it's always a good time hanging out with you.
Likewise,
I love
likewise.
it. I
Me
love
too.
it.
This is
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. And for all our viewers, once again, if you like what you've heard, please share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, you know. And we will see you again next week. Oh, let me not forget. If you have any questions, comments, you know, whatever it is,
Or
you
even
know,
topic suggestions, right?
oh yeah, topic
Yeah,
suggestions would be great.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, share that with us. I'm Precious said 888. And
Yeah.
what's your handle over
My
there?
handle is Keon said 37.
Yeah, love
For
it.
those of you, you
Yeah.
know what the 37 is all about.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We could talk about that next episode.
Oh.
Stay tuned, listeners.
That's all good.
Stay tuned. But okay, all right. That's it. It's a wrap.
Right now, I got 2 bright ass lights right in front of me.
Okay, yeah,
So
because you do look different. You look lighter and brighter now.
I might have to put on some sunglasses right now, though, because it's affecting my eyesight. So I put it on. I'm thinking they think I got beat up or something. Like, nah, dude, it's just a light.
Not the eyesight. Oh my God.
If you just see me blinking a lot, I'm not in trouble. You know how they say
it ain't no SOS going on. I don't need to,
ain't no
anybody to
SOS.
come and get you.
No. Ain't no SOS. I'm just getting hot.
Welcome back to another episode of You Heard What I Said.
And the second thing is knowing that. All right, I'm
It's good because I actually had like a popcorn kernel like stuck on my tongue. I need to. Okay.
What else you want to say about that?
You gotta take that part out. What you looking at?
I'm just gonna, if you really want to know this nail.
Why you got a nail like your friend?
Well, so here's the deal. So I got a dash. I got a dash cam, right? And a dash cam for the car, and it it goes up, but then there's a hole to put it in place, and it's like a black stick. It's about the same length as this. It was about like this size, and I lost that stick. And so if there's nothing that goes in that hole, if I hit a bump, sometimes it'll come off. And so I tried a toothpick, and that's what I use most of the time. But I don't want to be ghetto with a toothpick in front of my windshield.
Say toothpicks serve all types of purposes.
Hey, right size, right length.
Not just for the teeth. Another one done. Oh my goodness. Love it. See you soon.
All right. But yeah. All right. So I'll start this one after the last one.
Not that you was like, yeah, that's not one.
What did you, I don't know what you just said. What did you say?
You were like, I'll start this one after the next one. Yeah.
I said that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
you get to that age and just words and sounds come out. And you don't even know it.
Right? Because this light over here is hot. I'm like, did I sweat out my little baby hairs? Like, no problem. Thank you. Appreciate it. Love you.
You heard what she said. Love you too.
All right. You heard?